Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UNX News Radio podcast, your news source for all things unexplained. And now, here's your host for the UNX News podcast, Margie K.
Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Margie K., and this is UNX News. We're here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I have a great show for you tonight. But first, I want to mention a couple of items that you need to know about. Please go to unxnetwork.com and check out this new issue of the magazine. UNX Magazine is available as digital, or you can purchase it in print. And then I have another special announcement. Of course, we have the XCon coming up May 13th and 14th, 2022, which is a virtual conference. So you can stay home and watch a great conference with a lot of great speakers. And you'll notice a lot of these speakers are right here from the X. Jimmy Church, Ray Hernandez, Lee Spiegel, myself, and Micah Hanks, Dan Terry, and of course, Whitley Strieber. We've got some other great speakers as well. Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Lisa Martin, Wayne Lawrence, and Katie Grabowski. And then we've got a special event on Friday night that you're not going to want to miss. That is a live paranormal investigation for 3 hours from 9 to midnight at a very, very haunted site. So we've got a lot of topics that we're covering at this conference. Of course, UFOs, Sasquatch, the spook light in Joplin, extraterrestrial contact, consciousness in contact, and underwater submerged objects and more. So take a look at that, unxnetwork.com. My special guest this evening is Lorraine Simone. She has a master's degree in environmental science. She's a visionary and beloved teacher who effectively bridges the gap between living a spiritual life and the nitty-gritty of Western culture's world of things. She's the director of Moonfire Meeting House on Eastern Long Island in New York and the Women's Way Mystery School. She designs and offers programs such as Shamanic Visioning in the New Year, Compassion in Communication, A Goddess for All Seasons, and Impeccable Warrior Training for men only. She also teaches workshops that bring to life her expertise in deep ecology, healing arts, women's mysteries, creation spirituality, and shamanic practices. Welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you so much, Margie. It's so great to be with you tonight.
Well, it's wonderful to see you. We had a long conversation recently, and you are just a great lady. And I had to have you on the program because you and I are on the same page on a lot of things.
I know, it's grand.
Yes, it sure is. So let's start with your background. Where did you grow up and what drew you to become a teacher?
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. The city of America. So I'm told. And I remember wanting to be a teacher before I even got to kindergarten. There was something that just drew me to that process. And so when it was time for me to leave high school and look for an education in college, teaching became a very natural progression for me. And I worked for the New York City school system for many years. I was an adjunct professor at York College here in New York. And I loved what I did. And then I woke up one day and just didn't want to do it anymore. At least not in that venue. I really felt I didn't like the politics, and I felt that there were so many other things that my students at the time were hungry for, and so I left my career of a dozen years or so, and did the natural thing. I opened up a retail store in Manhattan.
Well, of course, it just seems like that's a logical transition. What was your store and what did you sell there?
Well, I named my store Planet Earth, and we sold gifts from the earth and beyond. And the beyond were meteorites.
Yes.
So what I sold at my store were the things that I couldn't expose my students to in my classroom. So I sold meteorites, I sold holograms, I sold books on consciousness, and at the time, Whitley Strieber's book was all the rage. We sold crystals, and I became very involved in a variety of healing arts and sold those items in my store as well. Beautiful meditation music. It was sort of a combination between Hemmeke Schlemmer, if you're familiar with that catalog, and the and the Museum of Natural History.
Oh, what a combination.
Exactly.
So I assume you do not currently have that store?
No, I don't. In 1990, I moved, I closed my business in Manhattan and moved out to the east end of Long Island. I felt really drawn to be near the water and out of the energy of the city. And I was transitioning, and I wasn't really sure where I was going next, but I knew when my time in retail was complete. And it was very beneficial to me because I met some extraordinarily amazing and loving, interesting people during the 5 years that I was in retail. And actually, I'm still a bit in in retail, very entrepreneurial in that way. But I needed the energy that I was feeling on Eastern Long Island, and the light.
Mhm.
Light is so special here.
Really?
Mhm.
How do you mean?
Well, because we're surrounded by water, there's a quality to the light that's very mystical, and it's one of the reasons why the East End of Long Island attracts so many artists.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I'll
so
have to make the trek out there to see
yes,
that.
please come and visit us. So visually, it's very different, and energetically, it's it's just so alive and beautiful. And we're way out on the tip of Long Island, so yeah, it's just a lovely place to be. So this is where I was drawn.
When did you create Moonfire Meeting House, and what does that mean?
Well, it seemed that a lot of my customers from my store in Manhattan also had summer homes out on Eastern Long Island in the Hamptons, and they asked me to offer some classes and workshops and just get-togethers, and that was my motivation to create community out here on on the island. And so Moonfire Meeting House was a natural progression to those very social gatherings and salon type conversations that we used to have. And I was introduced, excuse me, to a very influential woman in my life, a Mohawk Apache and just a bit of Scottish native teacher, and Moonfire Meeting House really encompassed a lot of the shamanic teachings and practices, ceremonies, rituals, heartfelt love and appreciation for the earth, and that's how Moonfire Meeting House evolved. And shortly after that, I found myself gathering with only women, and started offering monthly circles for women to get together. And that's back in 1990, and no one knew what a circle was, or what empowerment for women would look like. And eventually that morphed into 5 years later into a full-blown 5-6 level mystery school. And one of those levels is out on Eastern Long Island tonight. And so I just wanted to say hello to the women at the Cliff House.
What kinds of things do you teach there, and who are your typical students?
At the mystery school, my typical students are women who have always felt connected spiritually, connected emotionally to their hearts, to their intuition, to the environment. They've had a lot of psychic experiences and didn't really know what to do with them. They were curious about shamanic practices and women's ways, from rites of passage through ceremonies that brought women into naming and eldering rituals. So we take young girls who are around that age where they're ready to start to enjoy their moon time, and we bring them and women of all ages into rites of passage, which I believe every woman needs a rite of passage so that she can truly find her authentic voice and use it in a way to be her own authority and to show up with a sense of place and purpose in her life and in the world that is really looking for that balance that the sacred feminine can bring. And we've had very young girls, and I guess the oldest woman who came for her rites of passage was 72.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's never too late.
No, it sure isn't.
Yeah.
For those people who don't understand, what exactly is shamanism?
Well, for me, shamanism is a way to look at the world. There's a perspective that understands and sees everything that is here on this planet. That everything is alive. Everything holds that spark of Creator's seed, and as a result of that, because we too, as humans, hold Creator's seed, we have an opportunity to be in relationship with everything in our lives, because we are all connected. So I have as many wonderful conversations with the oak tree right outside my house as I've had with some of my dearest friends, who happen to be trees as well. So for me, it's very life encompassing, and the rituals assist in creating and deepening those relationships, and the ceremonies deepen those relationships with all of life, the life that we can see and the life that we can sense and can't see, and the life beyond this planet, because it's all connected.
Do you get a sense that most people are wrapped up in their daily lives and their work, and especially city dwellers, and they just don't have enough uh, communication with nature and experience in nature?
Yes, I agree with that, Margie. Absolutely. We've lost so much, and nature is just waiting for us to return, trying to speak as loudly as possible, and we just need to listen. I mean, I spent most of my life in New York City, born and raised.
Mhm.
Started my profession there, had my first business there, and always found ways to get to a park or get to a seaport or just get out of town because I heard myself and that need that I had for the green. And I just love
Mhm.
looking at the green on the screen here tonight. It's so healing and beautiful.
Yes, that is appropriate for this evening. Race actually picked that one out.
Good job.
Along the way in your journey, you were given a special name, something that was dreamed up for you by someone who had a big influence on your work and your life. Tell us about that.
Yes, yes, very interesting. So, when I was putting together the thoughts and the products for my store, I was introduced to a woman whose name was Oshana Fastwolf, and she was a fourth generation crystal healer. And when she heard that I was planning to bring crystals and those types of specimens and that kind of energy into my store, she offered to be my crystal consultant for $1 a year. And I thought, that's a great, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that very casual social meeting would impact my life so completely. And so I learned from her. I laughed with her. I cried with her. We spent many years together in ceremony, and in her tradition, um, a, a student will ask for a spirit name, and when she dreams or when he dreams a spirit name 3 times, it's then brought to the student, and the student has the opportunity to accept it and the vibration and the responsibility that comes with it, or not. And so I asked Oshana for a spirit name, and the name that she dreamt for me was Deep Arrow Woman. And so for most of my Moonfire community and the women in the mystery school and a variety of other retreats and things that I do, um, they know me by that name, Deep Arrow Woman. And I
Mhm.
took that name in ceremony and have grown with it over the past 20 plus years. And that tradition was passed on to me. And so I've dreamt the names of a number of people in the Moonfire community, women and men, and brought them into ceremony. It's a beautiful way to step into a different energy than the energy that we're used to in the world of things,
Mhm.
world of things. Yeah.
Yes, you mentioned the vibration of a name, and I really I resonate with that completely, because the name is everything about you. And I went through a ceremony like that. I was given a name, and there truly is a vibration to that.
Absolutely.
And you can feel it.
Yes. Yes. And it's a living thing. And so in this tradition, you have an opportunity to grow into a name. And when you fulfilled your alignment with that energy, you can ask for another name, so that there's always that opportunity for unfolding and expanding. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's good for people to know that too, to know that that's available to them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. I've got a few pictures here I want to show. This is you teaching something.
Yes, I think it was at one of the January visioning classes. I do a seminar at the beginning of the year, because the first new moon of the new year has many, many, many special aspects to it, and the potential for creating is immense. And so I believe that's that was one of those photos. Oh, my altar. Mm-hmm.
What is? Oh, this is your altar.
Yeah,
okay.
This is one of the altars during the early days of COVID, and we worked very diligently to figure out how to keep the community together, because we're scattered all over the United States, and we have Moonfire members in Ecuador and through Europe, and Calvin, if you're listening, Saudi Arabia. And so we figured out how to use the technology and continue to connect people in the community through the ceremonies and the rituals and the circles, and always with the protection and the magnification of an altar.
Well, Zoom has come in very handy for a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And the pandemic was one of them. Mm-hmm. And certainly, I think a lot of us will keep using that in the future. I know we are. We're, the conference we're having, for instance, is virtual.
Yes,
so people,
that.
And I think we're going to continue using it with, like you said, you have students all over the country. Do you do any classes where you've got the classes that are local and people can also check in on Zoom?
Yes. Yeah. We call them hybrid circles.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And that's, it's been so nice to open up more and more to the, to getting together physically. And like you said, Zoom is here to stay while we have people, and you can do a conference like the one you're doing in a few weeks, and we can continue some of the classes that you don't have to have such a deep experience, because shamanic work is very experiential, and still there's the need for explanation and connection, and we can do that on Zoom in those hybrid circles.
Mm-hmm. And what about this? You've got something new. Tell us about the cards.
Yes. That's a photo of an interview that I did for the woman who taught me how to make cards, and right in the center of all of those cards, there are a number of little crystal points, and larger crystal points sticking up in the center. But I was really called to take the cosmic laws of creation that we've used in a number. Oh, let me see. I'll show you there.
There we go.
In a number of the workshops and teachings here at Moonfire, and put them into a deck of cards. And so Affirming Cosmic Laws of Creation is a compilation of 44 cards that contain 42 cosmic laws of creation. And each law, each card has 3 images of what I thought was a great explanation, visual explanation of what some of the laws look like. And so that young people, as young as 4 years old, could look at this card and tell a story that this is about the process and the energy of release. And so each of the cards has an image and an explanation, a very concise explanation of the cosmic laws of creation. And they also contain an affirmation on each card. And when I first received my cards, I felt a need to ceremonially welcome them to my life and my work in the world. And so I was called to create a welcome ritual. Now, for myself, I just took my smudge bowl and lit it and, did a little ritual for myself. And I thought, well, most of the people at Moonfire know how to do this type of work, but the people that I haven't met yet might not. And so I designed a little cosmic power pouch that contains a dripless candle, a very, very delicate abalone shell, and a leaf of sage, California sage, a little crystal point that has been through sacred fire to hold the energy of the intention of balance, and a silver charm and a gold charm. And all of that is in the pouch, and I carry it with me to remind me of the balance that I receive when I'm open to affirming the cosmic laws of creation. And that was so much fun to do. And it took such a long time, Margie.
How long did it take you to create that?
It took almost a year. It took almost a year.
I can imagine. So, and how many cards are in the deck?
There are 44 cards in the deck. And, 2 of the cards are what the cosmic laws, what they are. And it took me a long time to design this cover card. I just love the star background and the explosion of all that energy and light. And then there's also a card that talks about what's in the card, the images and the nutshell and the definition and how to use the card, and ways to connect with these cosmic laws of creation.
Can you describe what cosmic laws are?
Well, let's see. I'll read what I have here.
Okay.
Cosmic laws govern all of creation. They explain our place in the universe and validate our birthright as creators. As Hermetics, Eastern and Western mystics, shamans, transcendentalists, modern physicists have experienced, now we too can enter a cosmic landscape overflowing with transformative and inspiring powers that awaken the soul and unlock mysteries of the universe within and all around us. The naturally dynamic and empowering energy of each cosmic law is palpable. Affirmed and applied, these laws change the trajectory of your life and offer success in all areas of endeavor. And so the big question is, what will these cosmic laws help you achieve? And for me, the cosmic laws are the building blocks of our connection to all that is. And every good book, every good teacher has in some form or fashion referenced and brought cosmic laws to us under a variety of names in a variety of ways. And so I wanted to make it as universal as I could. And when I discovered this training on how to make cards, it was the thing I needed to put my time and attention to. Even though I was working on 2 book manuscripts, I put everything aside to fulfill this calling to make these cosmic laws available. So, would you like me to pull a cosmic law for you tonight, Margie?
Well, yes, I sure would. That'd be awesome.
All right.
I was going to ask you how to use the cards. How do you tell people to use them yourself? So did you just have the pile there and you drew one out?
Yeah, so you can, you always shuffle them because you want to wake them up after you welcome them to you.
Okay.
You want to wake them. You want to wake up those cards, and you hold an intention for yourself or for someone else, and you can ask a specific question or just get insight into what it is that you need for that one day or for that one situation that's come up for you. And so hold that intention for yourself also, Margie. Let's see the cosmic law that is ready to speak to your soul tonight.
All right.
Okay. So would you like me to pull from the top of the deck or the bottom of the deck or the middle of the deck?
I think the middle of the deck.
I knew you were going to say that.
Of course you did. What did we get?
Quintessence.
Oh, okay. What does that say?
So the cosmic law of quintessence. Quintessence is the infinite nature within. It's the undeniable gift of the likeness to the divine within the heart of all creation. It's the individuation of spirit, the eternal and infinite aspect of creation that most resembles the soul. Embody this law by affirming, I am the limitless, infinite, and eternal expression of the power and beauty of the universe. I am able to create what I want and who I want to be because of my quintessence. And so here on your card, Margie, we've got the Mobius strip and we've got that dove that's very familiar in spirit and spiritual conversations. And there we've got that sweet little angel on the moon just watching over you. So,
all right. That's very nice. So would you recommend that people do that for themselves every day or like every morning?
Yes, I do. My niece has beautiful 9-year-old twin daughters, and she told me that once a week before they get on the bus to go to school on Monday, that they will pick a card, and they start by looking at the pictures to have a conversation around that, and that card represents for them the thoughts and the additional conversations that they'll have together for the remainder of the week. I pick mine once a day when I work with clients privately. It's one of the energies that inform all of my coaching and my spiritual counseling sessions. And they happen to be great conversation starters.
Oh, yeah.
For people who journal, they're really great journaling prompts. There's also a free downloadable journal that goes with the cards. And very soon, next month, there'll also be a private Facebook group of people who are interested in deeper explorations of the cosmic laws of creation. And I use them for a number of my classes and workshops as well, especially the visioning work that that I do here in community. Yeah, and they're great. They're great to look at, and they're just they're filled with the energy and the love that I put into them, and I can feel that, and I hope everyone who gets a deck of these cards home can feel that as well.
Well, I can certainly feel that with the deck that you sent me. And I especially like the fact that we're talking about positive thinking and affirmations, and there's nothing negative in there.
Exactly.
Because that's certainly not an emotion that we need to have. We have enough of that anyway. And if you're going to change how you think and how you feel, doing the affirmations, to me, is a great way to start.
Yes, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Margie, because there are a number of people that asked me why I use the word affirming in the title of the cards. And you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah. Yes. And all of these laws they're uplifting, they're life affirming. They invite you to participate and co-create for yourself the life that you want and the life that you deserve. And there's, as always, there's no lack of need for affirming, life affirming, uplifting thoughts and energy between ourselves and our higher selves and amongst each other. This world needs a lot of affirming cosmic laws to be implemented, for sure.
Most certainly. That's definitely true. What workshops do you have coming up?
Well, one of the workshops that I have coming up that I'm very excited about is the Impeccable Warrior Training for men only. It's a 6-month training program. It delves right into the shamanic rituals and ceremonies that support men to understand why the archetype of the warrior is so not only strong within them, but important for humanity. And with this training, the men will find that inner core warrior that is here for the people, that is here to protect and serve the women and the children and humanity. And I'm looking forward to all of the extreme spirituality exercises that I'll have a chance to share with the men. A number of years ago, I did a certification as a firewalk instructor. And so there are a number of extreme spirituality exercises that we'll be enjoying in this training, like glass walking and arrow bending, and this training will conclude with an actual fire walk, which is very empowering.
Well, I must say that I am glad I'm not taking that one in particular. But I can't because I'm not a man. So,
Yes.
but it sounds very empowering, and so I assume that people would actually have to be on site to do that course.
There are 3 weekends that require full physical participation here in New York. But some of the other work that we'll do will be hybrid, and some of it will be only on Zoom. And so when I'm doing those other teachings, I will make them available to men that are not in the full 6-month training, but might be interested in how to build a sacred fire, or something less strenuous than a fire walk and a glass walk and an arrow snapping, for sure. Yes. Well, when I started Moonfire, it took 10 years for the women in the community to feel comfortable enough to offer and to open some of the workshops that had been specifically for women around the sacred feminine, to open them to men. And now it's taken 20 years to build up the energy for this Impeccable Warrior Training. And I'm very excited about that. So that's what May has in store. And for the Women's Mystery School, the next few months are all about the women's initiations, Rites of Passage, and Sacred Union, and variety of those spiritual, empowering, maturing rituals and ceremonies.
I'm interested to know if during any of these rituals or ceremonies that you've conducted, especially those that would be outdoors, if you've had any, shall we say, interdimensional beings make their presence known.
Oh, absolutely. Usually when we gather, even when we do a women's circle indoors, it's a full house.
Yeah.
It's a full house. A number of years ago, a very well-known local medium and psychic, very attuned young man was invited to one of the women's circles, and it was a ceremony, a fire ceremony, and I didn't have an opportunity to sit with him prior to his arrival to let him know what the ritual was about. And he sat quietly in the corner and didn't really participate much. But after the ritual was over, he came to me and he said, do the spirits of all of these people who are dead always show up at the ceremonies? And I said, Roland, what do you mean? And he said, there were hundreds of souls participating. I said, well, I would have told you that before the ritual, but I didn't have an opportunity to do that. So the answer is yes. We've had many experiences with elementals. We've had experiences with souls that have crossed. We've had experiences with other experiences that we can't even put words to. And the ceremonies, but especially when they're outdoors, because we're connected then to the elementals. They're just so enriching to the soul and so empowering, and assist people to open up their minds as well as their hearts to what else is possible in this life. And and we've seen great shifts and great changes around that.
I wonder if you've seen any possible extraterrestrial craft during your ceremonies.
I personally have not, but there are a number of people in the community that have shared those types of stories. Yes. And we, we just feel eyes on us.
I kind of felt that, because when you're in a certain state of mind, of consciousness, and vibratory rate, which would be meditation or or a ritual, that's when you're able to see the craft and see the beings, as well as the elementals that you were talking about. It's all connected and interdimensional.
Yes, and once you pierce that veil, there's just another reality that you must acknowledge and deal with. I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It sounds to me like you have to deal with two realities every day. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely. And it makes life so much more exciting and real and active for me. And it's one of the reasons why I put those two little charms in this pouch as a reminder that balance is the highest quality to aspire to in life, because once you are balanced, anything is possible. So whether you need to be balanced in the inner world or the outer world, or the world of the psychic, or the world of the material, or the feminine or the masculine vibrations, it just enriches and opens up life. And for me, that's what makes life worth living.
Indeed.
Yes.
What are some of the other workshops that you have coming up in the next year?
Oh my. In the next year, in the fall, we'll be opening registration for the Women's Ways Mystery School for Rites of Passage. Next September, because of COVID, we needed to postpone this. But next September, I'll be taking with a number of my team. We'll be taking a group of non-native peoples on a sacred sojourn into the land of Changing Woman, where we will engage in nightly ceremonies in sacred waters in the Southwest. That you talk about interdimensional. Yes, that's what those 10 days are all about. This is an ancient ceremonial practice that is a medicine that Oshana passed on to me before she crossed. And I'm in the process of training others to keep this particular journey in the world for especially for non-native people.
Mm-hmm.
And the visioning seminar is a constant in this community. We've been doing that work for over 20 years now. Compassion in communication is something that we're looking at in the fall. And there could be another crystal class. There could be another pendulum class. There could be another class on death and dying. Margie, we just never know. Never know.
I get the feeling that you kind of go with the flow and do what your guides tell you is needed at the time.
Yes, and also, you read the community, you read the room, and you see what's next, and what's needed, and I've just been blessed with many teachers from many traditions, and a curiosity to know what I didn't know before, and to keep learning, and to be that, that hollow bone and that bridge for people between the world of the seen and the unseen, between the dimensions that we already know about and those yet to be discovered.
I get the sense that you are a very balanced person and very non-temperamental, and you kind of go with the flow of life. Do you think it makes it easier for you since you began this journey?
Well, Margie, I'll tell you, I didn't start out this way. And so my life is a testament to the work.
There you go.
You're absolutely a testament to the work. But for me, as I said, living in balance, that really is the shamanic path to joy, to enlightenment, and it's something that I offer to everyone who's interested in praying in a different way, in opening to different aspects of self, and to bringing in those other dimensions of life onto a physical plane, and working with them and enjoying them and exploring them. And so I just want to thank you so much for creating this opportunity to come and talk with you. You've made this so simple and easy for me tonight. You're great to talk
well, it was the right time, and things fall in my lap as they're supposed to, and I just kind of go with the flow as well. But I knew that after we spoke that I needed to get you on the program and get to know you a little bit better. And hopefully I'll make my way out your way sometime soon.
Absolutely.
I would, if for no other reason than to see the light.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
light, it is so very, very special. And I promise when you come, we will not have a fire walk. I promise.
Okay. Then it's a deal because
we'll walk the beach, but not the fires.
Right. Well, I'll take Rice with me, make him do the firework.
Oh, he would like that. Yes.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would like that. How can people get in touch with you and your, find out about your seminars and your workshops and your cards?
Well, moonfiremeetinghouse.com /cards is one of the ways that they can purchase these cards. And by the way, the cards are $36. They come packaged in a beautiful way. And that price includes shipping. They can email me at moonfire@optonline.net. And the women, if they've got questions about the circles, that we have many facilitators offering circles, especially around the East Coast and up in Canada. They can email me at womensways@optonline.net.
Okay, wonderful. Unfortunately, we're out of time for this evening, but thank you so much for coming on the program. It was great having you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Margie. And good luck with the conference. I know Lee is excited about that as well.
Oh, we are very excited about it. We're excited to have Lee. All right. This is Margie K, and I will see you here again next week.
You've been listening to the UNX News Podcast with Margie K. Any rebroadcast or duplication of this program or its content without express written permission from UNX Media or Margie K herself is strictly prohibited. The UNX News Podcast, in direct cooperation with the internet website unxmedia.com.